Hello and welcome to another video for pre-calculus. In this video, we'll solve nonlinear systems of equations. So we can solve nonlinear system of equations either using substitution method or elimination method. So I'll show you one example doing substitution and another example doing elimination. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve this one by using the substitution method. So you are familiar with substitution method. What we do is we'll solve for one of the variables from one of the equations, and then we'll substitute that into the other variable, other equation, and then solve for that single variable. Once we get the value for that single variable, then we'll go back and substitute into the other equation to find the value for the other variable. So here to solve for one of the variables, I think doing from the second equation is easier because it's a linear. So we'll go ahead and solve for y from this second equation. So from here, if I solve for y, I get y equals 2x minus 4. If you subtract 4 on both sides and if you add y on both sides, so you have y on one side and then you have 2x minus 4 on the other side. Now what I'm going to do is I'll take this value, this y, okay, y equals 2x minus 4, and I'll substitute that in place of y into the first equation. Now when I do that, I get x squared plus, now y is 2x minus 4 squared equals 16. Now we see that this equation has only x variables and there are no y variables. So we can solve for one variable easily. So what we do here is let's go ahead and expand that second term. So we have 2x minus 4 squared, which means 2x minus 4 times 2x minus 4. So if you FOIL that, you'll get 4x squared minus 16x plus 16 equals 16. Now if we subtract 16 from both sides, so we get x squared plus 4x squared minus 16x equals 0. And then we can combine the first two terms. So we have 5x squared minus 16x equals 0. And then we can solve this one by factoring. So we'll factor out x. And then we have 5x minus 16 equals 0. Now from here we have x equals 0. And from here we get x equals 16 over 5. Now we have two values of x, so we should have two corresponding values for y as well. So what we do next is we'll go ahead and substitute here in this equation, okay? So when x equals 0, y equals 2 times 0 minus 4. So we'll substitute for x. And that gives us y equals negative 4. Again, when x equals 16 over 5, y equals 2 times 16 over 5 minus 4. And then if we solve this, if we simplify that, we get y equals 32 over 5 minus 4. And then that gives us y equals 12 over 5. Now our solution for this system of equations are, so the solutions are when x is 0, y is negative 4. So 0 comma negative 4 is one solution. And the other one is when x is 16 over 5, y is 12 over 5. So 16 over 5 comma 12 over 5. So these 2 points are the solutions for this system of equations. Now let's look at another example where we can use elimination. Okay. So here we can use elimination because we have x squared and x squared in both, or we have y and y. So either we can eliminate y or we can eliminate x squared. Let's go ahead and eliminate x squared. So in order to eliminate the x squared, what we need to do is we need to have the coefficient, opposite coefficient, okay? We need to have the same number with opposite sign as the coefficient. So what we do is we'll multiply the first equation by 3, and then we'll multiply the second equation by negative 2. When we do that, we get the negative 6 and positive 6 as the coefficient of x squared in those two equations. Okay, so when we do that, what we are going to get is we get 6x squared plus 9y equals 21. So when we multiply by 3, 3 times 2, 6, 3 times 3, 9, and then 3 times 7 is 21. And then if we multiply the second equation by negative 2, we get negative 6x squared minus 10y equals negative 10. And then what we do is we'll go ahead and add these two equations. So when we add them, so 6x squared minus 6x squared is 0, and then 9 plus negative 10y is negative y equals, we'll get 11. And then if we divide by negative 1, we get y equals negative 11. Now what we do is we'll take this one and substitute in one of the equations above. So what we do, let's go ahead and substitute that in the first equation. So if we substitute that in the first equation, so the first equation is 2x squared plus 3 times, now y is negative 11 equals 7. And then this is 2x squared minus 33 equals 7. And then if we add 33 on both sides, we get 2x squared equals 40. So 33 plus 7 is 40. And then if we divide by 2, we get x squared equals 20. When we take the square root, we get x equals positive negative square root of 20, which means the solutions are positive negative 2 square root of 5, because 20 means 4 times 5, and the square root of 4 is 2, and then we have a square root of 5. Okay, so the value for y is just negative 11, but the value for x we got 2. So this means our solutions for this system of equations, okay, so the solutions are, when x is 2 square root of 5, y value is negative 11. And again, when the x value is negative 2 square root of 5, y value is still negative 11, because we got positive and negative 2 square root of 5 when we plug in negative 11 for y. So for both the points, y value is negative 11, but the x value is 2 square root of 5 and negative 2 square root of 5. So these are the two solutions for this system of nonlinear equations. So that's all for this video. I'll see you again in the next video.